Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I am your host, Zoe, with my co host, Cantu, on the other side on this magnificent hump day, September 18, 2024.
Yeah, it's been quick turnaround. Well, we recorded on what,
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, we
Monday
actually record
now.
on Monday. I thought about that too. I'm like, damn, we just recorded. Now we're recording again.
Yeah, but I mean, we like it. Like get to talk baseball with all the fans, and you know, it feels good just recording and just talking baseball, being with y'all, and obviously with Zoe, it's always a great time.
Of course, we always love talking to the fans and the audience because I think this one's going to be a fun episode regardless though. Titling episode 216, Astros feeling footloose, as we're going to title this, because there was a naked foot on the field
Foot
during the
exposure.
game. Yeah, foot exposure. Yeah, we're not going to talk about, all the other kind of stuff you could do with feet, but Jose Altuve, my gosh, I mean, that game too was just a one of the most craziest games or even series in general that I've ever seen, like broadcast live, radio, if you even throw that out there too, because it led to an ejection. Umpires didn't know what rules was being followed. I mean, there was so much stuff to get through in that series. Honestly, we could have recorded that night too, but my gosh, it was like 12 something over here
Hmm.
in the central time zone. But a lot to get into. Angel, recap that Padres series. Starting pitching grade of this series against the Padres. Horrendous umpire crew. Jose Altuve ejection, like we mentioned. Joe Espada thoughts. Who's invited to the Carne Asada? The Los Angeles of Angels of Anaheim are returning to Minute Maid Park once again for that pitching preview around the horn, which we have a lot to get through with that, and the train station / injury news, because there is a lot to get through as October is getting here closer, as well as the free agents coming through in this later offseason. One of them is going to be Alex Bregman. Brian McTaggart had throw out a newsletter regarding about that, and then about possibly maybe looking into extension with Alex Bregman in the future after this season ends. So a lot to get through in this episode, Angel. Before we get started, let everybody know where they can follow us.
Yeah, before I do the introduction on that, do you know that meme with Leonardo? I think it's Leonardo DiCaprio, where he's eating popcorn and kind of pointing.
Oh, the one he's like
Yeah,
whistles when he has a beer can in his hand.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was me when I'm sorry, when Jose Altuve took off his shoe. I was like, he took off his shoe, like he's just pointing at the TV screen, like in shocked and all. I was surprised he did that because you really don't see that from Jose Altuve.
No.
Like, yeah, I mean, like he has the utmost respect for the game, but that just goes to show how emotional this game was. It was a playoff game atmosphere. It felt like the Astros had their back against the wall many times just because they had the Padres. And I mean, I've been reading what the Astros fans have been saying on Twitter. So like, it's like the umpires were against them as well too. So it's like two v one is kind of what they felt. So uh, yeah, it was a really emotional game. But yeah, you can follow. So let me go back to the introduction. So you can follow us and subscribe to Full Steam Ahead on TikTok, X, and YouTube. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts there.
Yeah, this series, like you mentioned too, game two, playoff atmosphere. Just regardless, this whole series was a playoff atmosphere. Period. I think then the radio they had mentioned 2 out of the 3 games, or even all 3 games, were sellouts at Petco Park, which is a
Mhm.
beautiful ballpark. If you haven't been through, I highly recommend going out there to check out a Padres game, Astros game, wherever your favorite team's at, or just out there just to visit. I mean, the series in general was just a playoff. It could be actually a World Series preview in the later, part of this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, this whole series was a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, both teams getting into it, like you were saying with Jose Altuve, Joe Espada, Jurickson Profar, one of those incidents as well. Manny Machado. I mean, there was just so
It was
much to get through.
Speaking of Manny Machado. This was the Manny Machado series. Honestly, it was just phenomenal, and he almost single-handedly swept the Astros if Greg Kessinger doesn't make that incredible play.
I mean, he's just on fire right now. That's something you just got to tip your cap to that, man. He's just on a heater right now. Like he's just playing great baseball, and I think that's what you need at this moment, especially if you're fighting for a wild card spot, which the Padres are doing. and I want to say to the broadcast they had mentioned that they have the best record after the All-Star break.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I
they
think
are one, and that's what I'm saying. I don't see how they might not even make the World Series. Like they have a good, legitimate chance to make it.
yeah, and they're only 3.5 games back from the Dodgers too. So I mean, they're still competing there.
Yeah, it's very possible. We've already seen past years too with the wild card teams. When you're hot. And right now, the Padres, that's a great team over there, and they had a great rotation in this series from You Darvish to Michael King, and I mean Dylan Cease literally almost had a complete game in that
Mhm.
against the Astros.
He almost had a perfect game. I don't know. Like he retired the first 15 batters. I think he had, like went
Yeah,
up to the what, fifth inning, fourth inning.
I think the sixth inning. I think that's when Jason Hayward got the hit. He got the
Okay.
first hit for the Astros. But yeah, I mean, this was a really great series. It was kind of a test for the Astros too to see where they're at. They played great baseball against
Hmm.
over 500 teams, and this was obviously an over 500 team with an 82-60 something record. And I mean, they just did a really good job. So let's start off with the starting pitching because I honestly think starting pitching did a really good job in all three games. Spencer Arrighetti, let's start off with his stat line. I'm pulling it up actually right now. 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Was getting hit a little hard in the beginning, but kindly started to settle down in the upcoming of those. I want to say like in the third to the fifth inning. He did throw a lot of pitches in this game. That's why he only factored 5 innings, 102 pitches, 60 of 8 of them were strikes. But he did hold his ground and giving up only 2 earned runs to the Padres. I think that's pretty good night, especially as a rookie going over there at Petco Park.
Yeah, I mean all three of them look solid.
Yeah, and real quick, let me just go through, I guess, the stat line for all the pitchers. I mean, Hunter Brown, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for him. He just made a mistake to Manny Machado, that hanging curveball, and obviously that tied the game right there. So, and like you were saying, Angel, I mean, Manny Machado was just hitting the ball really good. I mean, you really can't do nothing about him in this series. And then Framber Valdez, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He
Also made a
pitched really
mistake
well
to
too.
also made a mistake to Manny Machado.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's a good located sinker. It was like right in the corner of the inside corner, low and
Mhm.
inside. So, and I think that was like the first loss in like the second loss in the last 14 starts of Framber, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. But
Yeah.
I gave you the stats on these pitchers. Arrighetti, 2 earned runs. Hunter Brown, 2 earned runs. Framber Valdez, 1 earned run. Give me a grade for this starting pitching in this series against the Pods.
No, they played well. I'll give them an A because they did their job. Uh, we told you last podcast leading up for the preview for the project. This would be a pitchers matchup. This is a pitchers duel.
Mhm.
Like if you're a fan of great pitching, this was a series for you. And I mean, like it just went out to show. Hats off to the to the other side because they pitched phenomenal too. It's just honestly, Manny Machado was a difference.
Yeah.
The offense did what they could against their great pitchers, and it's just, I mean, they just came up short twice. But if you're the Astros and you're worried about how the team's gonna hold up, you shouldn't because they played well, like against this team. This series, and I know they have some more big ones coming up with the Mariners and the Guardians, but this series the Astros look good. Obviously, they didn't get the result they want, losing the series, but after this, like your confidence that they can beat anybody in the playoffs because that's what they showed. And
Yeah.
honestly, uh, be
No, no, no. Go
like
ahead. Finish off.
I was gonna say in the American League, I would say maybe if you're looking at all the teams right now that are in the postseason in the American League, I think not one of them matches up to the Padres pitching staff. I mean, you got what, Yankees, Guardians, Houston, like the starting pitching, right?
Mhm.
Like I know Guardians have a great bullpen, but other than that, I mean, I would say the Yankees come in second to the Padres pitching staff. Like we're talking about the American League.
I think I would say I got to go to the Royals. Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo. That's a game one and game two right there.
Mhm.
I think that's a scary game one, game two compared to a Garrett Cole who intentionally walked one of the best players in the Red Sox. Um, and I mean, who's your number two in that rotation? Is it Carlos Rodon? Is it Nestor Cortez? Which they had mentioned Cortez is going to be in the bullpen, but now you're seeing him start some games. Marcus
Stroman's
Stroman.
going. Stroman's in the bullpen. He's gonna be in the bullpen too.
Oh, he's going to be in the bullpen. So who's your number 2
Mm.
starter in the Yankees
Hey,
rotation then?
Luis Gill.
Is it Luis Gil?
I'd say
He's been a little shaky though after the All-Star break himself.
he was hurt.
So, oh yeah, actually, yeah, you made a point.
Yeah. But I mean, which I mean, out of all the teams in the American League and the Padres, whose rotation would you take?
And the American League,
Yeah, like when I compare to the American League, right? Just the Padres, and then compare that to all the American League starting pitchers that are not the Astros. Which do you think is more elite, though?
Padres. Simple as that.
So that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like,
Mhm.
yes, they lost the series, but they played great against that pitching matchups, and like how I was saying, I think not one team in the American League competes with the Padres pitching staff. So I think again, I think they just keep their head up high because they played great.
Yes, we'll talk about American League matchups later on the show because we had talked about it off air, and now it's getting a little bit more interesting as there are 10 games left in the season, at least for the Astros part. But yeah, you made a good point. National League, though, man, I'm guessing right now as we're
That was gonna be
talking,
fun.
which we could talk about in a little bit, Padres and Phillies, I say in the NLCS. That's
I can
how I
see
say.
that. I can
But
see that.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'll go a little bit under just for the fact they did lose 2 out of 3, A minus. Spencer getting hit a little bit still. Hunter Brown, like I said, he just made that one mistake to Manny Machado. Framber Valdez continues to deal. I mean, and like you made a good part of it. I mean, if you're an Astros fan, and if you're the Astros yourselves, you can't really feel bad about this series and how you played. Obviously, the offensive production didn't really come in this game in these 3 games, but at the end of the day, you're showing where you're at right now, what you can get better at in the upcoming, especially in this last homestand. They're going to be going against the Angels, and then the last 2 series, which them 2 series are actually postseason teams. The Mariners, I'm going to say yeah because of the fact that their pitching is really good. So Mariners, you get prepared for them, and then the Guardians, which if you make the wild card series, and if you pass the wild card series, who is going to be the number 2, which right now it's the Cleveland Guardians. And that's going to show which teams, how you're going to play well against the Guardians upcoming in the postseason.
Yeah, and there's gonna be some important matchups. You know, like you said, 10 games left. Magic number 7, but Seattle. I mean, they're gonna compete. Yeah, they lost by like a pretty big margin yesterday, but I mean, they're gonna throw the kitchen sink at the Yankees.
The only way the Mariners are going to make the playoffs is their pitching. That's the only way they're going to make that
Yeah.
wild card.
They start scoring
And
runs.
and yesterday too, Brian Wu really got hit pretty hard.
Yeah,
But they got Bryce Miller today, and I think they got Logan Gilbert on
tomorrow.
Thursday. Yeah, so it's getting here. It's getting here, folks. October baseball. You can just feel that breeze in Houston, which is
I know what you're
complete
hoping
BS.
for. I mean, like against those 2 matchups.
Yeah. Moving on. Horrendous umpire crew. Home plate umpires in at least game 1 and game 2 were horrendous in this series. Like, let's not even sugarcoat that, honestly. It was just piss poor for both sides. Very inconsistent strike zones for the Astros and the Padres. Replay as well. What's the point of having replay? What is the point? I mean, Jurix and Profar did not get hits.
Yeah.
And it shows perfect clear on the broadcast on even if you even go on social media too. It shows right there that Profar didn't even get hit. Even Profar is telling them like, "Hey, I did not get hit. I don't even want to take this extra base." It was just bad. It was just bad. I mean, we could start off with the strike zones first on these umpire scorecards. We only got 2 of them because most importantly, game 1 and game 2 were really bad for the strike zones. I know the Astros, and not even to mention that 3 ejections from the coaches in 3 straight games if you cancel today's game. Josh Miller over there in Anaheim for Sunday or Monday. It's Sunday, I think.
Yeah, Sunday.
Alex Cintron ejected, obviously because of what we're going to talk about right here in the strike zone. And then Joe Espada getting ejected yesterday, of course, with the whole Jose Altuve thing. But let's bring out the umpire scorecard real quick. Our face is going to be on the left. If you got to squint, you got to squint. If you're not, you can find these scorecards on umpire scorecards on Twitter. So let's start off with Brian Onora. Overall accuracy 89%, relatively accuracy negative 5.1 below expected. Overall favor plus 0.39 runs for San Diego. And then the overall consistency is a 93%. The impactful missed calls, top of the six, Darvish to Diaz, 1 out, bases empty, 3-2 count. Ball is called a strike. And that is with the number one. You can see it on the right side of the strike zone. Bottom of the third, they were getting a Machado 1 out, runner on first, 2-2 count. Strike is called a ball, which it does hit the paint of that line. And then bottom of the eighth, Scott to Merrill, 0 outs, runner on first, 2-0 count. Ball is called a strike. Called strike accuracy 79%. The average is 88%. And then called ball accuracy 92%. The average is 97%. This was just bad in general. I mean, Darvish, credit to Darvish. He did a really good job against the Astros. He had a game plan against them. But the one at bat that really put a strain, I would say, for the Astros was that one against Yainer Diaz. When Yainer Diaz was up there, and shows right there, maybe that 3-2 count away, and it was back-to-back strikes away and out of the strike zone. That really hurt a lot. And, I mean, it was just bad. It was just bad in general.
No, yeah.
I don't know you got a comment before I move on to the other one.
No, just show the other one.
So I'm about to bring it up on my side. It is, man, I gotta put my glasses on. Brennan Miller. I'm trying to pull it up on my side on Twitter. Yeah, I mean that too. I thought it would have gotten better in game two, but it just did not for the Astros. Got it right in front of me now. Overall accuracy 92%, relative accuracy 0.2 above expected. Overall favor, who was it for? The San Diego Padres, 0.58 runs for San Diego. Overall consistency 89%. And then you can look at the impact missed calls. I mean, yeah. I mean, I really don't have a lot to say. I've already mentioned for the first one. I'm going to say for the second one too, just to save my breath. But got to be better. Got to be better. I know it's a hard gig, calling strikes and balls and obviously outs and putting a guy safe. But you got to be better as an umpire, especially too with the replay that you got, the technology that you have. You just got to utilize it better into your behalf. And then two, you got to know the rules. I know we're going to talk about Joe Espada on his thoughts in a minute regarding the Josh Hader one. But yeah, overall, this umpire crew was horrendous. And not to mention too, this was the same crew that was used in Cincinnati when Alex Bregman was caught on a hit by pitch, and then they said it was a foul ball.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they have to clean it up. I think there has to be some consistency, around the league about the umpires, and they have to look back and kind of study the thing because it was bad. Like on the second game, there was a ball that was like above the letters. A few of them caught strikes when they were like clearly balls. I think one of them surprised the Padre hitter. Now, like the only thing, I mean, it was on both sides, so it's not like they were favored, like the Padre or anything like that. But this just gets me thinking: do you think it's time for like where the batters can challenge a strike call, or like
it's almost getting to that point?
I'm not a fan of the robot umpires, like kind of like them having a headset and then the ball's being called for them. I don't like that. I think it takes away from the game a little bit. Like I'm all for like the human touch of the game. However, humans do make mistakes. So I am more inclined for the challenge system when the batter touches his head until he wants to challenge
Real
to
quick.
play the pitch. Yeah, they see that's fair. I'm with that. But the fact that they're like basically taking away the umpire's job and calling balls and strikes, like nah, like let them do their job. Because I mean, like you're right, it's a hard gig to do, especially there's no like they don't have an outline. It's just field. Like they're from knees to chest, letters. Everybody different batters have different strike zones. Like Aaron Judge's strike zone compared to Jose Altuve's strike zone.
Yeah.
Like it's a hard gig. So I'm all for them like the checking it, not the like electronic strikes and calls. I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you take that human element, that OG style of baseball. You already took away. We're now already doing challenges, which that took away that spot of it. Like it was just the see of the naked eye of seeing he was safe or out. Now you have the challenge system, which it's beneficial. Honestly, it's beneficial because it can happen during a huge part of the game. Like for instance, Jose Altuve's thing, which we'll talk here, or even a playoff game. I mean, stuff like that matters. And yeah, I just don't think you should take that away. And we had mentioned like it's already a hard gig for them to do. You made a good point. Humans do make mistakes, but at the same time too, like with replay, I mean, it's clear as day if you're getting hit, and it's clear as day that you have the technology, you have the resources for you to use and take advantage of it. Then next thing you know, you're still calling a hit by pitch, which it shouldn't been a hit by pitch.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
Lastly, too, with the Josh Hader, um, the disengagement, like he just got on the mound. The time shouldn't have even started. And then the blue was basically telling him like that's an automatic ball. And Josh is like, the time hasn't even gone. Like it's already running before I even got on the mound. And then that's when they came back and the umpire crew got together trying to figure out. Then they went to go check with MLB, and then it was a rules check. A rules check. So meaning that it's them. Like they got to figure it out. It's not because of a challenge situation or umpire review. It's a rules check review. Like this shit should be already settled down before you even step onto the field.
Okay.
That's it.
I mean, no, I forgot where I was going with it. Like I think I forgot my question.
Is it a
Oh yeah,
question or
no. Like I brought it back. So to kind of improve replay, like they have it like with football, right? So it's based on the call on the field, uh, and it's either stands, and then there has to be confirmed evidence to kind of like overturn that. Like, what if New York doesn't know what the name, like what the call was made? So, for example, it's a bang man play at first base. They don't tell New York safe route. They're like, "What do you think about this play?" And then like whatever they say, I think he's safe and it's safe. It's out. I think it's out. Then that'd be a little bit more fair because like it gets a little shaky with the cow standings and stuff like that. Like having enough evidence to overturn it. I think if they just like check this play, what do you think? Safe route, and then whatever they say.
yeah, it's just too much back and forth. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a little frustrating, honestly. And it's not because it's just happened to the Astros, but just in Major League Baseball in general. Like it's just ridiculous. Let's move on to Jose Altuve because he's been ejected twice this season in the same predicament.
Yeah.
1-1 count, runner on second, ninth inning. Crucial part of the game right there. Gets a base hit, go ahead run scores, bottom of the ninth. Josh Hader comes in, possibly closes the game or gives up a 2-run homer or ties the game. I don't know, whatever. You got a bunch of scenarios you could do in that situation. Altuve hits the ball off his foot. Umpire called it was still in play. Altuve just couldn't believe it. Joe Espada goes out to ask for help. Umpire basically told him, like, hey, I saw it with my own eye. There's no need to ask first base. There's no need to ask third base or the guy up the middle. I have the call. Didn't even get no help. So during that time, Jose Altuve is like, you know what? Screw it. Let me take off my cleat. Let me take off my sock real quick. I'll just show you the evidence myself that I hit my toe. Showed the home plate umpire. The umpire came, like, he just looked back. Altuve's like pointing at his foot already, like showing him, like, hey, dude, like, I already got hit. Like, what else do you need me to show you? Umpire just didn't have it. Threw him out. And I mean, it's the second time this season that Altuve's gotten dealt with that situation. Foul ball off his foot, not getting no like help. At least the first time, the umpire crew got together and figured to see if he got hit in the foot or not. This time, home plate umpire is like, you know what? No, this is my call. This is my game. I'm the guy behind the plate. I make the call. I'm gonna say either it was a foul ball or if it's still in play. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Joe Espada also ejected. Before I can give you the question of the night for Joe Espada's ejections, give me your thoughts on Altuve. I mean, was that the right thing to do? just basically just take off your cleat and sock and just say, hey, dude, like, if you don't want to believe me, screw it. I'm gonna just take off my shit and show you right there. Look at my toe. It's red.
Obviously, it wasn't the right thing to do. He got ejected, but at this point, you know, because it was the second time, he needs to milk. He needs to milk it. If he gets hit on the fall, roll on the ground, like kind of like a soccer move, just to show that he got hit, right? And then maybe then they can go talk about it. But the fact that the umpire didn't even go ask for help, I mean, go ask. You know, like, oh,
Yes.
like it doesn't hurt to see maybe someone saw something different. because I mean, it could have changed the dynamic of the game as well. So it's just, I mean, like luckily for the Astros, they pulled off the win, but it could have easily gone the other way.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Game one, not game one, but the game in New York, they at least huddled up. This game, how are you going to make the call and say, no, this is my call? I don't need help from first. I don't need help from third. Third base, if anything, has the better view because it's right in front of him from the third
Hmm.
base line where the third base bag is. It's right there in front of him where his toe gets hit by the ball. You look at it in slow motion too on the videos. You can see it just maybe just tad hit that top of the foot of the cleat. And I mean, I'm just 100% agree. I mean, there needs to be should umpires get kind of like a you know how players get. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I didn't know what that sound was, but do you think there needs to be a discipline for umpires, like how the players get disciplined for some type of like if they argue and they touch the umpire, well, we're gonna fine you this amount of money. I mean, should umpires get some type of discipline, especially for these type of calls?
Yeah, that's tough. Uh, Obviously, umpires don't make as much as the players. Uh, but I don't know. I've actually haven't never thought about that. The umpires being fined. I would say if an umpire goes too far, like and puts his hands on a coach or player, then yes. But if they're just drawing back and forth, I mean, it's just I would say part of the game too.
Okay, additional question: should the umpires talk to the media, just like how the players and the coaches get all these questions asked by the media? Do you think the umpires should get some type like should the media basically go to the umpires and tell them, hey, you saw this here, clear view. Why I want your thoughts. Why you just didn't go ask your crew for some help?
I mean, it's a possibility. I can see what that can lead to a little bit of like fiery conversations, but I mean, yeah, I can see that. Like especially like for big playoff games, just like a recap of what they saw, uh, or like just an explanation. I think that'd be fair. Like when there is like a huge like decision like that, like just communicate it to like how football when there's a flag they communicate, or like when there's a challenge they communicate like that. I would say that like that'd be really helpful, beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the fine doesn't have to be necessarily like what the players' fines get, but
Hmm.
like a minimum. I don't know what umpires make. They make 100,000, $500 fine, $1,000 fine. I mean, I don't know, but something like that that basically shows like, okay, you know what, I did mess up. I'll accept that fine. Just like the players. The players are human, like you were mentioning earlier already. They're all human. They all make mistakes. If the players could get fined, the coaches could get fined. Why not the umpires?
Okay.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
I mean, you make a valid point.
So going to the question of the night. Like I had mentioned, Joe Espada was already ejected. How many ejections does Espada have already this season?
More than Dusty Baker, that's for sure.
I know that for sure. So that's what I thought about too. Like Dusty Baker, the only ejection I could think of with Dusty was the Rangers CS last year.
Oh, he was livid on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's the only one that comes to mind. Joe Espada, I think you could have a list that like when he's been ejected. So
It's either
give me a
5 or
number
6.
close. You had it the first time.
I was thinking 5 or
Five.
6. Yeah, 5 or 6.
5. So of course, San Diego with this in Cincinnati with Alex Bregman. You remember, like I was mentioning, same damn crew with the hit by pitch against the New York Mets, calling balls and strikes when Jake Meyer struck out.
Was the Reds
Chicago
one?
White Sox. Say it again.
Was the Reds one?
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Okay.
Chicago White Sox balls and strikes. You remember when Altuve struck out with the ball that was like at his face, and he was all mad going to the field, and then Framber Valdez comes, does the same thing. Umpire doesn't call it, so balls and strikes on that one too. And then his first career ejection as a manager, you gotta go back to the other side of the Chicago in Wrigleyville with the Cubs. Calmest ejection ever I've seen from a spotted two. Since that, he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and tell
He's
you.
get his money's worth.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So 5 ejections already for manager Joe Espada. It's not as much as Aaron Boone does over there in New York, but I mean, shit. It's been. I think it's good though too for the players. He's backing up his players.
Mhm.
Like this, like he's backing up Altuve, Josh Harry. Here's a quote from Espada on the Altuve incident. Brian McTaggart had asked it, and this is a quote from Espada. He said, "Quote: You want to go there first? It's a foul ball. It's a foul ball. You have to see the ball once he hits the foot, the flight of the ball, what the ball does. I don't understand. That's twice this year, and I have a ton of respect for the umpires. They work hard, but it's for out there, meaning for umpires. For me, you have to be able to see they missed that play." And then here's his thoughts on Josh Hader's disengagement when he came off the mound and all that stuff. He said, "Quote: He sat on the mound for like 4 or 5 minutes for a rule check. We should know the rules. That's my opinion. We should know the rules. I know the rules. I study the rules. We should know the rules. There should not be a rules check on that." End quote. So the fact that a manager has his players back, that just shows a lot. Um, that just shows a lot of what your manager is capable of doing. I mean, he's had to fight through a lot of adversity this year as his first year with the Astros, but right there, having Josh Hader's back, having Jose Altuve's back, basically kind of almost telling MLB like, hey, you need to get your S together because this is ridiculous that my player's already ready to pitch and you're checking for a rules check in 5 minutes. And then the same thing with Jose Altuve, having that happen twice to him this year. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like kind of motivates you like sometimes as a player seeing your manager get ejected because like you said, like they know they're there for you, they got your back, and they just kind of like say let's win it for him or something like that. So I can like, especially like in a tight game like this, uh just actually just persevere. I think Joe's about to get like played a factor on that.
Not just
But
that, before he even
but
started the whole conversation with the media in that game, he's like, first I want to say how proud I am of those guys. Because even though with all that going on with the strike zone, I mean, it gets into your head pretty damn quick, especially in the
mhm.
beginning of the inning. You're already fighting off the blue with a ball called a strike on the outside corner. That's literally a ball. So he's giving credit to all his guys. I'm pretty sure there was a good not motivational meeting after the game, but like a little post game meeting with his team saying, this was a good game right here. Battle adversity, showed out right there with a tough environment, playoff crowd. So, I mean, this series in general, before we move on to the Garnet Asada, I mean, yes, the Astros did lose the series, but you had to be very optimistic going into these next upcoming series and even going into October that the Astros are in great position where they're at.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But kind of sad time.
Yes, it is.
And I'm just gonna piggyback on what you were saying about the starting pitchers, and then we graded them. We will give them an A of some sort, right? A plus. I mean A minus. But that's who's gonna be starting. It's gonna be Framber, Valdez, and Hunter Brown for the Garnet because they pitch really good. Valdez 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. In his last 26 starts, or in his 26 starts with the Astros this season, he's posted 2.9 ERA with 159 strikeouts and a 217 opponent batting average and a 1.09 WHIP. Those stats are before they started against the Padres, so that number just went a little bit lower on his ERA, only allowing 1 run. Hunter Brown, again, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. This is his career high 12 win. I'm sorry, he did not get the win. He started 11 wins, but chasing his career high 12 wins if he can get one more. Since May 22nd, Brown has worked a 10-3 record with 2.31 ERA, and that was over his last 20 starts. And then Brown ranks first in ERA, third in opponent batting average, and he's tied for fourth in wins, 7 in opponent batting average, and ninth in innings pitched. So that's just how great the starting pitching has been. Do you think Hunter Brown gets his 12th win?
Yeah, I think so. That's a going against. I think he's lined up to go against the Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be a great win for him, just for the fact that the team's fighting for the division, and against a division opponent like that, I think that'd be perfect for his 12th win. I think that'd be probably the last game he could probably start. So
that, or he might start the last game because it's 10 games left.
Yeah,
he might either
the last game of the Guardians possibility. Just depends if they still continue on with the 6th man throughout the whole season.
Yeah, because what? It's a 4-game series. Then they,
3 game
yeah,
against Seattle.
and then they
So
finish it out with Cleveland. Yeah, so
yeah,
could be one more. And then I'm gonna show some Brian Reyes some love because he has accomplished something that only 2 other Astros have accomplished. He only came in 1 game, pitched 1 inning, got a strikeout, got a walk, but he has a 3.18 ERA. However, that 1 strikeout he got was his 100th strikeout this season. He became the 3rd Astros reliever in history to log 100 strikeouts in back-to-back seasons, joining Octavio Dotel, who did it from 2001 to 2002, and right-handed pitcher Brad Lidge from 2004 to 2006.
great company.
Yeah. You know which name surprised me that's not on the list? Billy Wagner.
Mm, yeah, could be.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's been some.
yeah.
There's been some pretty good relievers. I'd say for the Astros.
Back-to-back seasons. Yeah, yeah. I guess you could put him. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, so
Little
pretty good.
underrated one. Underrated one. I think Jose Valverde.
Yeah, tell me
Hit
when I was thinking about Astros relievers, his name came to mind. Besides like Billy Wagner, so yeah, I would say that.
I think one season he led the NL in saves, or
Mhm.
either NL or the whole league.
I think it was that now. Yeah, and then lastly, Jose Altuve. He only had three hits, 13 at bats, 1 run, 1 double, but showing that showing that emotion,
Oh,
showing what are you gonna say? That foot?
I thought you were
No,
gonna say showing his foot.
showing
That
that
just gives you
emotion.
into the card. I saw the period already.
No, showing that fire emotion, just like a manager getting ejected. Your captain, I would say, because I would say Jose Altuve is the captain of that team. Showing that emotion, that willing to will, kind of motivates the whole crew, and I think that's like another reason why they were able to overcome that in that second game. Altuve does have 180 hits. In September, he is hitting 347 with 5 doubles, well, 6 doubles now, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, and an 889 OPS. And that was in his last 14 games. So pretty good. I mean, September is always a good. September is always a good time to get hot because, especially if you're the Astros or a contending team. And
I
then
feel like this is an easy question, real quick. 200 hits, yes or no?
10 games left.
With 10 games left, 200 hits. He has a 180 right now. 200.
No, he doesn't get it. You can even say 20 hits. 180.
I mean, it's possible you could get 3 in each game.
Nah, I say
Anything is possible, like Kevin Garnett says.
20 hits in 10 games. Nah, I don't see it.
I'll take the odds on that. I'll take it. I'll put my chips on the table for that one. I think he either at 200 or 201, possibly 199.
201. I wouldn't say I wouldn't even.
Dude, do you not have faith in it? Look at you just said what he's hitting right now.
He's
345, 20 for 58,
if
5
like
doubles, home run, 6 RBIs. He's gonna be hitting at home.
he's only
It's
had
possible.
one,
You can't tell me it's
two.
not possible.
So he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multi-hit games in September, and that's in 17 straight days. You're telling me he's gonna have to get two hits
It's possible.
consecutively for 10 games?
You could. There's a day that you could only get 1 hit. There's another day you could get 4 hits. Which I don't think he has a 5-hit game, but
He does not.
you never know. Like you said, October baseball is getting
195 is my cap for him.
195. You're okay.
That's being generous.
I'll go on the over of 195.5.
All right.
But I do think he has a good chance of getting 200. You just don't believe it.
I don't know. And honorable mention is going to be Greg Kessinger, just stepping up in the moment, making that great sighting catch. I mean, he doesn't have many at bats. But I think as a role player, they always got to be ready to come in a moment's notice, and that's exactly what he did. I don't know if you saw the quote. He said as soon as he saw Jose Altuve take off his shoe, he went to go grab his glove.
He's like, all right, I'm head out, like that little SpongeBob meme kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, shit, he's made 2 incredible plays in big games. If you remember in the CS in Texas at shortstop, when I don't know if he
Mhm.
pitch run or pitch hit for some. I think he probably pitch run for somebody. Um, and he made a leaping catch at short. So Gray knows about these big games, man. And this is so funny. The game of baseball is just beautiful, dude. It is just beautiful. The baseball gods will find you. The ball itself will
Yeah,
find you. And
absolutely.
literally, it found him on that last play of the game. Gotta love this sport, dude. Gotta love this sport. It's like when
Yeah.
George Kittle said on receivers, you gotta love football. Well, you gotta love baseball, man. You gotta love baseball.
I
Anything else
mean,
before we get the preview going?
now get to the preview. You got four pitchers you got to go through. Let's go
Jesus,
ahead and
man.
start it.
4 game series. Los Angeles Angels, California Angels, 62-90 record, 3-7 their last 10 games. They're last in the American League West. The Astros just recently played them over there in Anaheim and obviously got the sweep in that series. Like Angel said, this is a 4-game series. I did not know they were playing tomorrow, to be honest with you. But let's get it out the way because the weekend is here. Hispanic Heritage weekend for the Astros is here too. I think they're gonna have that Street Fest on and Saturday.
Hmm.
So if you got tickets for that, you could possibly too maybe see them clinch. It just depends on what the Mariners do in these last couple of games. Either they could clinch that series or they could clinch the series whenever they come into town. So get those tickets in. Last home down the series. Thursday, 7:10 start time. Jose Suarez on the mound for the Angels, 1-2 record with a 6.80 ERA. He'll be going against Yusei Kikuchi, 9.9 record, 4.29 ERA. Suarez last start versus the Astros, 4 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. 55 pitches were thrown, 40 of them were strikes. Back-to-back great starts, with the Astros, and I think he pitched against Minnesota as well. The only thing with him, you're possibly going to see a bullpen game with the piggyback on this one. Hasn't pitched through over 4 innings in any of his starts this year. So there's a great possibility that after the 4th inning, or even if he even gets to the 4th inning, you could possibly see another pitcher coming out of that bullpen, which is very strange. Very strange.
It might.
Kikuchi on the other mound. Go ahead.
No, I was just say like it might be his analytics aren't pretty good the third time around, or maybe he started getting his arms still ready to start pitches. But I mean, they also got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, if it's going to be a bullpen game. You already get their bullpen tired at that point. Kikuchi on the other side, last start against the Angels, 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Remember, the Astros are 8-0 in all of Kikuchi's starts. Kikuchi himself is 5-0 in his starts. He has
This
yet
be
to
an
lose a game.
this is gonna be an interesting one because I feel like it's always tough. Uh, like I'm a reference football again. Just like whenever you have those divisional matchups, you know that second time around, it's never easy. And the fact that he just faced the Angels literally like a series ago and facing them again, they kind of have a feel for the pitches. It's still fresh in their minds. So that's gonna be a tough one. But I think he can do it.
Yeah, a lot of different changes are going to have to happen for both teams, really. New
Yeah.
scouting reports, video, all that type of stuff. You're gonna have to change your game plan against these guys. But speaking of football, I mean, fantasy football is there. Angel 0-2, me 1-1. Are you in 2-0 in any of the other leagues? 1-1, maybe another league.
1-1 in the other league. I
Okay,
would have been 2-0, but Jake Moody killed my mood.
shout out to Jake Moody. Friday, 7:10 start time. Beers on ice. Weekend is here. 7:10. Tyler Anderson, 10-13 with the Angels, 3.60 ERA. Justin Verlander, 4-6 with a 5.20 ERA. Anderson's last start versus Houston, he looked really good in the beginning of it, then kind of got hit pretty hard in the middle part. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Back-to-back starts though, going 5+ innings. The only thing with Anderson, which is really going to help him, is he pitches well on the road. 7-4 record. 2.33 ERA, and a 2.01 opponent batting average. You want to talk about road warrior? 2.01 batting average opponent? That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. Verlander, though, hasn't been really good of late, but he did have a good start against the Angels. It's kind of a good stepping stone for him to end the season on a good note. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. I think the strikeout column for him is not going to be up like it used to be for him. At the end, you're just going to have to pitch really well and get some outs, even though he is a fly ball pitcher. Has given up 6 earned runs in 10 innings against the Angels this season. That's not a good stat to listen to. But the last start against the Angels, his command wasn't really good. This is a start right here, which you're still trying to prove that you still have it. Your command has to be pretty damn sharp.
Yeah, this is a start that can either make or break Justin Verlander in the play and his playoff chances. Like, you got to take advantage of this Angels team. Like, it's like kicking the guy when he's down. And like, you have to do it, because if your outing doesn't look good, I know we have had like a huge debate on this Justin Verlander playoff appearance and stuff like that. Right now, I have him as a 4 starter, but if he can't find it, then the Astros are gonna have to make a tough decision. Is like if they want to roll with him, or are they gonna look elsewhere there?
Hot take. If Justin Verlander doesn't pitch really well, gets knocked around, maybe gives up 4 or 5 runs, 4+ earned runs. If Ronel Blanco has a good start, Ronel Blanco is your game 4 starter.
Okay.
That's why I said hot take. But then again, the wild card series is only determined for 3 games.
Yeah.
So
you heard it here, folks.
You heard it here. Saturday, 6-10. Reed Detmers, 4.7 record, 6.05 ERA. He'll be going against Ronel Blanco. We just talked about 11.6, 2.88 ERA. Detmers, last start versus the White Sox, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. I kind of opened my eyes on that one. I'm like, damn. Against the White Sox, giving up 7 earned runs. That's pretty tough. But last start versus Houston, 4 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. His career versus the Astros, though, 1-3 record with a 7.17 ERA in 8 appearances. His last win, Angel, if you make a guess, has came in what year?
Oh, years?
Years. We're talking years.
What are we? 2024, I would say maybe last year, 2023?
2021 was his last win against the Astros. Last win against the Astros. But to his benefit of the doubt, prior to that start against the White Sox, he had 2 consecutive quality starts. So he's going to try to look for it right here against the Astros. Astros have pretty good damn numbers against Detmers, considering they've seen him a lot in LA. So interesting matchup, but like you were mentioning, both sides are going to change their game plans against one another. Blanco, last start against the Angels, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. He's yet to give up a run, Angel, in his last 3 appearances. He has pitched 13 scoreless innings. 13 scoreless innings. I'm reminding you, he started against KC, went to the bullpen against the Diamondbacks, and then had that start against the Angels.
GTA continuing.
That's what I'm saying. It's a hot take, but don't be surprised. Like I said, like you said, and you heard it here first. Sunday, to end this 4-game series and running out of breath, 110, Griffin Canning, 6-13 record with a 5.16 ERA. He'll be going against Spencer Arrighetti, representing the H with the 7-13 record, 7.13, 4.68 ERA. Canning, his last start versus the White Sox, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. His last start versus the Astros, got to go back to last year. He did receive the loss in that one, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. The career splits against the Houston Astros hasn't really worked out in his favor. He is 0-3 with a 6.49 ERA in 8 appearances. He's yet to be in the win column against the Astros. To add on to that, the road splits between road and home. He is 0-10 with a 5.93, 269 opponent batting average on the road this season.
That's crazy. 0-10.
It is. And when I saw it, dude, I'm like, you haven't won 1 game on the road? It's mind-boggling. Yeah, at least 1, I would think.
Reminds me of a Wandy Rodriguez. Remember that guy? Could win in Houston, but cannot win in the road.
Number 51 for the Astros. Arrighetti, last start versus the Padres, already had mentioned his stat line. To end it, he has yet to face the only American League West team this year, and that is the Los Angeles Angels. This will be his first time pitching against the Angels this season, and great opportunity for him to possibly end the season on a high note.
Yeah,
I don't think. I think he does pitch against Cleveland, but just in case.
I know you called sweeping the Angels in a 3-game set, but I think it's much harder to do it on a 4 games. Do you think the Astros sweep the 4 games?
I think it's a difficult one, but I'm gonna go on a winnable series on this one. I think the Astros take 3 4 games.
I can see that too. I would say 3 out of 1 too. It's just baseball is so hard to win 4 in a row, especially against the same opponent. So I would say 3 as well.
Who did they do it against the Royals? Was that a 4-game
Yeah,
series or a
that
3-game
was a
series?
4-game series. That was a 4-game series. Yes.
That was a tougher team too.
Yeah, I mean it's doable, but
It's very doable.
It's just hard.
Last name before we move on to the train station. Even though it says around the horn, them two got to get flipped. That's on my end. Sorry about that. Do they clinch in this series against the Angels? Yes or no?
No.
No?
No.
Where does the magic number get to at that point then?
What's the magic number now? 7?
7. It's still 7. If the Mariners lose today, I think it goes to 6, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll say they clinch the first game against the Guardians.
Damn.
Seattle's not going to go away.
That's a hot take right there.
Yeah.
I am not. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Against the Guardians?
Yeah. I don't see Seattle going anywhere.
Yankees are up 1-0 with bases loaded and 2 outs.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are that they have bases loaded.
But the Astros also
I gotta go against that. I'm not being biased, but I think the Astros either clinch it in that last game against the Angels, or they clinch it that first game against the Mariners. That's where I would lean.
That's where you're at. Okay.
I'm still shocked. You said the Guardians the first game?
Yeah. I mean,
they play Seattle before they go to Cleveland.
I know
that, right? So you're telling me that, I mean, it can happen, but you're thinking the Mariners could sweep the Astros at home.
I'd say they probably win 2, maybe 2 out of 3. I mean, maybe the Astros might win 2 out of 3. So, but again, they're not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna be that's gonna be a hard series.
Number reduces when the Astros win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just making sure because that's literally 7 games though. LA is 4, the Mariners are 3.
Okay.
So you're sticking with game 1 of the Cleveland.
I'm sticking to my guns.
I'm trying to help you, dude.
That's all right.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, dude. I'll be honest with you. I'm shocked. Go with the train station shit.
All right, let's start off with Ben Gamble. We had told you the last podcast there wasn't any update on him yet. Well, now there's an update. Initially, he was placed on a 10-day IL with left knee contusion, later changed to a left fibula fracture. So you're looking maybe at a timetable like Kyle Tucker. A fracture is a fracture. You should get let it heal, and the nature run its course there. So it takes some time to do that. Go ahead.
Does he come back and play this season?
Eek.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say no. I don't think so. That's a fracture, man. That's very unfortunate too because he's been doing really well with the Astros. He has.
But luckily, Jason Hayward has actually been doing pretty good too. So it's a tough loss for the Astros, but they've made enough reinforcements where I'm sure the Gamma will be missed in the clubhouse, but I think Hayward could pick up the slack there. And then as a move to that, Cesar Salazar is back, which that move makes sense. The Astros are going to have 3 catches just because Yanier Diaz has been playing a little bit first base, so has Carantini. So just save the legs on those, on them. Give them a breather. And just get there's an emergency. Someone gets hurt. Cesar Salazar's there. And now this is a little bit more interesting. This is from the Brian McTigers newsletter. I don't know if you've seen that. MLB had a chance to sit down with Dana Brown and have a Q&A, basically like exclusive Q&A with them, and they asked some pretty good questions. So let's start with this question because Lorenzo and I have been, debating on Verlander. We kind of hit on it again, but this question says, from MLB to Dana Brown, it says, when do you start talking about your postseason roster and rotation and what goes into those decisions? This is what Dana Brown had to say. So, and I quote, we feel like we're going to get in, but you'd rather wait a little bit longer and give the guys a chance to show you what they can do. And so then you'll start having discussions. The first discussion will be more so about the rotation. How do you plan to attack that? Then you kind of know what your depth will be out of the bullpen, and then you get into the position players. What's your projected starting rotation versus righties versus lefties, and then maybe get into the extra players. Of course, after you do that, after you do the starting pitch and you have the relievers to look over, we'll have some really tough conversations.
Yeah, them
So
are going to be really tough, honestly.
going based on that last sentence, you think Dan Brown was referring to anything, or he's just trying to play it by day, or what do you think?
Of course, after you do the starting pitching, you have the relievers to look over. We'll have some really tough decisions. I mean, the relievers do because you're going to need a bullpen in this postseason period.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already talked about what players, what bullpen pieces are probably going to get in that bullpen on the roster. Your lockdown candidates, I'm saying right now, Neris, Abreu, Presley, and Hader. Them are lockdown candidates. Taylor
Yeah.
Scott right now has been kind of iffy. Like he hasn't been really pitching really well as of late, and just for the fact he's been pitching a lot of games in his career. Caleb Orr, you just saw right there against the Padres. He's just got pretty damn hit hard against one of the best teams in baseball. Who else am I missing? Brian King. I think Brian King's a good lefty. Caleb Ferguson, he got hit around in against the Angels, but he's done really pretty good with the Astros too. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Honestly, like I don't even. It'll be like when the season ends, me and you will probably have our projections of like how the roster could look and shape up. But yeah, the starting pitching, I think it starts with the starting pitching, and then, like he was saying, you go to the relievers and see what's kind of like left after that.
Yeah. And like you were saying, if just Verlander can't find it, then there'll definitely be some tough decisions about his progress. I think, honestly, right now, I don't think Caleb Ferguson makes it, or he might because he's a lefty, but there's be some good relievers that might not make the roster there. Just because
I will say this, I do think Caleb Ferguson does make it over Brian King, just for the fact that King's a rookie, and they're probably going to need a lefty regardless.
Yeah, got you.
They don't have like a right-handed pitcher. I mean, they might, but like Phil Maton, for instance, Dusty Baker used him a lot against lefties.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they have a righty like that, but yeah, man. I do have a question though. Since we're talking about the pitching real quick, for the wild card series, if the Astros do make the wild card, and let's say they do win the wild card series, for the next series in the division, do they get to readjust their roster?
Yeah,
add and drop.
Yeah, they do.
So if that's the case, in my opinion, if Justin Verlander can't find it in this start against the Angels, and like I said, if everything goes well for the Astros, they make the wild card, they win the wild card. I will say this: I don't think they put Justin Verlander on the wild card series. Possibly just let him do some bullpens, try to figure something out, and then let him get onto the division roster.
That'd be smart.
That's what I think. But.
Yeah, that'd be smart. Like I wouldn't be opposed to that decision. Mm-hmm. And Dana Brown has another big decision looming past the playoffs. MLB.com asked him about Alex Bregman. This is what the question was. He was like, "You have said a few times to free agent to be Alex Bregman would get a contract offer from the Astros. Where does that stand?" This is what Dana Brown had to say, and I quote: "We were in Anaheim the other day, and I ran into Scott Boras, and we started talking a little bit. And we both said, look, once we get towards the end of the season and things are over, we'll definitely engage and talk about it. We had a small conversation about it. Right now, we're not in any discussions about contract offers. We both agreed we will meet back up." And close quote. What do you think the chances are Alex Bregman wears an Astros uniform, percentage-wise?
I say 50, even though that I feel like that's high.
Mm-hmm.
I do say 50 just for the fact that I think Boras does have a good relationship with the Astros. Altuve's agent is Boras. McCullers' agent's Boras. Correa's agent was Boras too. I mean, it still is, but they do have a good relationship with him. I personally, in my opinion, I just do not see Alex Bregman going to be in the Astros uniform next year. But maybe there's a 50% chance. That's why I say I think that's a high percentage to me.
I'll agree with you there. That's where I'll stand. 50% too. Yeah, no argument here.
Yeah.
And then moving on to Around the Horn, the Brewers clinched the NL Central, which I know you were telling me off air that you looked over our projections for the season, and we were way off about the NL Central. I think I had the Cubs, and what did you have again?
Had Cubs, no, had Giants,
Or ju-
Phillies.
well, go ahead. Never mind. I just finished.
You had
Sorry.
Giants, Phillies, and another. I can't think of the other team. Like maybe Diamondbacks. Giants, Phillies, Diamondbacks.
No, I'm saying, but like, who did you have for the NL Central?
Oh, I had man, I had Cubs. I think.
So you both had Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I think once the Brewers traded Corbin Burns, I was like, there's no way the Brewers repeat, and they shut me up real quick because they clinched. I think they're like what the first team to clinch too.
Yeah,
So the first team to clinch in the NL Central, and then if we look at the standings right now, let me pull them up. Unless you have them up,
I got him.
you
What do
got
you
them.
need?
Now I was just say so. And the AL leaders are the Yankees, Cleveland, and Houston. I think Yankees like I know they're tied with the Guardians right now with 88 wins, but it looks like the Yankees have a higher chance just because of getting the first seed. Uh, so you have that, and then in the National League, you have Phillies, Dodgers, and Milwaukee. Which another thing for okay, so now let's go on the wild card for the AL is Baltimore, Kansas City, and Minnesota. Which surprising, and I know we're talking about this. 3 NL Central teams in, I'm sorry, AL Central teams in the postseason. That's pretty remarkable there.
And one is looming.
Yeah, the Tigers.
Former Astros manager,
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers.
1 game back from the wild card.
One came back.
That's crazy.
It is very. But go ahead.
So, what is like the dream scenario for the Astros? So right now, if the postseason started today, it would be Yankees, Cleveland, Houston in that third seed, and then Baltimore with that first wild card, Kansas City with the second, and Minnesota with the third. Do you think the Astros are in good standing right now, even if they don't get that bye week, or you think it's a must that they need to go shoot for that bye week? Which they're
I
6 games
mean,
back.
yeah, and they need that bye week, I think. But I think the Astros are in a good position where they're at because let's say the playoffs started today. You're going against Minnesota, who is struggling mightily right now to find a way to win a game. You would go against them. After that, if you win against the Twins, you're going against Cleveland, which Cleveland, first, like I mentioned in the last episode, first year manager, a very young team. Their starting pitching isn't the strongest, not the best, but their bullpen is one of the damn best in baseball right now. So I would take my chances with Cleveland just for the fact that the Astros do have a lot of experience in the postseason, and the Cleveland Guardians barely coming up playing the postseason. I think this might be their second or third year,
Mm-hmm.
like a two.
I think
Two
it's
if they make it, it'd be like two of their
second.
last 3 years they
Yeah.
made the postseason. Yeah, I
So
think I'd line up like that, honestly.
So, are you predicting a Yankees Astros
ALCS.
ALCS?
Yes.
I'd
What about you?
say I'd say Astros Royals ALCS just to get a little
Royals
spicy.
are honestly a sleeper. I
Yeah,
told you this. I think that's a sleeping team that you do not want to mess in the postseason. Remind me of the 2015 Astros, but I mean, I told my dream scenario. What about you? What do you think the Astros should go for that wild card, even though they could play for the bye? Either
I
way, they're
think
going
they
to be on that side.
I think they need to buy honestly just to give just look at Brian Abreu's like
Yeah.
highest games for reliever this season, and I mean I think they need it. But like you said, like they're not in a bad spot. I think they can take the Minnesota Twins. I think they can take the Guardians too. That Guardian series though, that one's gonna be focused on the little things. If you can do little things right and take advantage of mistakes, that one's gonna be an underrated series for sure. Because although their starting pitching, like you said, is not their strongest suit, they pitch well. They pitch well, and honestly, with that bullpen, all they have to do is get through 5. Shit, maybe even
Yeah,
4.
pretty much.
And then, so yeah, I mean, they're gonna do their job. Like that was gonna be a hard one, but I think the actual chances look good to go to another World Series. Honestly,
I think so too. That's what I'm saying. If you're the Astros, I think you're a good standing if you're in that wild card in game, even though it does suck because you're gonna play. But at the same time, too, look what the trend has been these last couple of upcoming posts, not upcoming, but the past postseasons. Wild card teams have actually gone to the World Series. Rangers did it last
Phillies,
year. Phillies did it the other year.
Diamondbacks too.
Diamondbacks as well. I mean, at the end of the day, whoever is hot at the end of the season, that's who's gonna go to the CS at least.
Yeah, that kind of
That's how
reminds
I
me of that Nationals team too. They just got hot at the right time.
right time. Yeah, that's all it is.
So did
If you
Braves.
21,
Yeah,
you just had to be hot at the right time, and I think, well, even the Phillies in 22. So
World
to me,
Series.
the seating doesn't matter. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your
No, I
thought.
was gonna say the seeding doesn't matter because I think the Astros are gonna be either in that wild card series or they're gonna be in the 2 series. I mean the number 2 seed. No way in hell they're getting to the number 1. But I think number 2, and I think that's set up for both pretty damn good.
Who do you have in the World Series?
I have the Astros just for the fact of their postseason success against the Yankees. Um, I even though the Yankees did sweep them, yeah, they swept them literally on opening day, correct? Yeah, the Yankees have done really good the regular season, but that's been like that almost every year. Every
That's the
year, the
trend.
Yankees have
Yeah,
won the series in the regular season. But when it comes to the postseason, I'm not saying they choke, but they don't play good baseball.
Astros are just a different animal.
And it's a different, the postseason is a different breed. I don't know how Juan Soto is going to be because Juan Soto did beat the Astros in
Juan
2019.
Soto gonna do Juan Soto things. It
Yes,
doesn't
exactly.
matter.
It
The
just it depends on the other players in that team. Are they going to
I
step up? That's the part.
I'd say let Juan Soto get his. Like that's inevitable. If they can stop Aaron Judge, which the Astros have done a really good job of doing that,
Yeah.
I say they can take the series because you got to pick your poison on that one, right? Juan Soto usually leads off. Uh, Aaron Judge is usually the second batter. If Juan Soto gets on base, perfect, got a single. Let it go. But if you can't get Aaron Judge out, that's when the problems are gonna ensue because then you have pretty good hitters that are gonna put pretty good at bats following them up. So it's
And like I mentioned too, I think the Astros played really well at Yankee Stadium too. I do just think they thrive under all the boos, especially and even Yankees fans kind of had caught on with that. Like, stop chanting, with the Altuve chant that they do. S- they already know, like it's just that team in October is just different. It's just a
mhm.
different team. Going back to the World Series preview, I got either Astros, Phillies, Astros, Padres. I think the Padres and Phillies fight for that CS. Them are two damn good teams. Rotations for both sides are really damn good. Man, it's
Damn.
either or, I say.
I was hoping for a debate here.
You got the same one? Well, which one do you
Same one.
got?
I would say Astros. I'm gonna say Astros. I had Phillies or literally Padres, and I was gonna say I hope it happens. Phillies, Padres, and the NFC. That's gonna be a dogfight. That's gonna be the series to watch there. Like if
I
the
say
NL had a
Philly.
World Series,
I think the Padres win. Even though the Phillies have gone to the CS, if they make it there, that'll be their third
mhm,
straight year. I think it left a sour taste in San Diego's mouth that Bryce Harper in 22 had that swing of his life that Davis had
mhm.
mentioned. Their pitching is better. Their starting pitching is really good. I think it's going to come down to bullpens in that series. And the Phillies
They
do have a
both
good
are
bullpen.
both of them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's gonna be a dogfight because I think I'd say Phillies have a tad better offense, a
Mhm,
tad,
mhm.
but I think the Padres could get it done. So I would say Astros Padres in the World Series.
Yeah, that Phillies lineup is ridiculously stacked. It's literally stacked, like honestly. One
Yeah,
through nine. 1 through 9.
absolutely. And then speaking of power and good offense, did you hear Heliot Ramos is the first right-handed hitter to hit a home run into McCovey Cove.
Yes. And I
That's
don't know how many years, but shit. That's
when
hard
wa-
though.
yeah. When was the Giants stadium built? You know,
Two no 1996 maybe late 90s. I know they opened that stadium.
and I know Barry Bonds made a living out of there, but for a right-handed hitter to do it, that's pretty. I mean, that's dad power right there.
That's when that wind helps and kicks in right there for real.
Yeah. I mean, I was a shock, but like, did you see it? Like the home run?
Yeah, it
That was
literally
pretty good.
just got there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's high praise
That's
there. Yeah.
uncut gems again. That's history right there.
And then Ryan Peapot threw an immaculate inning against the Red Sox. Actually, had 12 strikeouts against the Boston. So
Wow.
pretty good stuff there. And then lastly, I don't know, we saw Julio Rodriguez wore crystal cleats today. Well, went 4 for 5. So
Swarovski.
yes, so he went 4 for 5. So I'm sure those are staying on for another game.
That's the last thing you want to do is like promote a cleat when you're trying to fight for a spot in the postseason. I would think, but
Hey, it worked.
that's not me. That's him, bro. That's as if we're talking right now. Yankees is still 1-0, 2 outs, running on first for the Mariners, bottom 4.
Okay, not bad.
So, like I had mentioned, if the Mariners do lose today, the magic number moves down to 6.
Bryce Miller just only has allowed 2 hits, so it's 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 4 walks though. That's where he's getting in
That
trouble.
hurts.
4 walks and 5 strikeouts. So he's basically pitching himself into trouble.
Yeah.
Those
Still
4
can't
walks.
believe you said one. I still can't believe you said one game. In the first game in Cleveland, that's when they're clinching. Oh shit!
And I'm right. I want an apology.
All right, if I'm right, go a round of golf.
I'm done.
All right, hour 12 in the books. Jesus,
Hour and 12.
Hour and 12. That's the beauty of
God,
talking baseball with each and every one of y'all. But yeah, this is the end of our show. We got to go.
It's past my bedtime, dude.
Yeah, the Astros play this 4-game series literally tomorrow. If you're listening to this on a Thursday morning, good morning. Have a great day. But end this off. Follow us at our social media platforms from Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We have it right there on that clicker. If you missed the episode, we'll have this uploaded to Spotify and Apple for the morning, as well as after we get off of YouTube, it'll be on YouTube as well. But until then, Angel, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, just thank you for listening and thank you for bearing with us and appreciate all the support.
Postseason baseball is getting near. 4-game series against the Angels. Will the Astros clinch, or will they clinch at Cleveland like Angel said? Anyway, y'all have safe. If y'all go to the ball game, y'all have fun. This is the last homestand. So if you're in the Houston area, make sure you get your tickets and take advantage of this last homestand of 2024. Till then, y'all stay safe. Have a blessed weekend, and we will talk to y'all. Give that recap of that series and get the preview going for the Seattle Mariners. See ya.
Peace.